Hey there, this is Ed Herzog, and in today's video what I want to do is I want to show you the brand new version of WP Rocket. This is version 3.6, which just came out earlier this week. It's got a lot of great new features, including one that allows you to preload your fonts. Now this is not for taking care of Google fonts. There is already an option within WP Rocket to take care of your Google fonts. This is for font files that are directly loaded within your CSS. And you may not even know that you have files like that on your website. I didn't know, but when I went through the process, I found a couple files that were slowing down my website that I can now preload via WP Rocket and make my website load faster. And what I'm going to do in this tutorial, in this video, is I'm going to show you everything that WP Rocket has to offer, not just the new features. So if you've never seen WP Rocket before, definitely make sure to check out this video because I'm going to give you a full tutorial of everything that WP Rocket can do. So first of all, I want to show you what's new in version 3.6 of WP Rocket. This is the email that I got from them yesterday, and scroll down here and they first mentioned preloading fonts. This is the option that I just talked about in the intro to this video. It says you can now tell the browser to start downloading fonts that it otherwise wouldn't discover until much later. With this feature, you can fix a PageSpeed Insights recommendation preload key requests. Fonts referenced from within a CSS file will no longer be a performance problem. This is a really significant improvement on their part. I saw the other day on Facebook that somebody said that this option improved the loading of their website by about 200 milliseconds. So a pretty significant speed improvement for that person on their website just from this one change in WP Rocket. So this is probably the most important feature, a new feature in version 3.6. The next thing is it says critical path CSS for specific pages. It says WP Rocket was generating and using the same critical path CSS for all the pages of your site. With version 3.6, you can generate a different critical path CSS for specific pages and posts. It says if your website uses custom layouts, it will benefit significantly from the new critical path CSS option. Next, critical path CSS for mobile. So it says if you use a different theme for the mobile version of your site, you can now create and use a dedicated critical path CSS for mobile. So that, again, if you have a different theme for mobile, you now have the option to generate critical path CSS just for that theme. Then finally, they actually eliminated something. It says down here that we also got rid of the remove query string option. It says this feature is no longer impacting speed results, so they decided to eliminate that particular feature. So that is what is new in version 3.6 of WP Rocket. Now I'll enter my dashboard on WordPress and take you through a full tutorial of everything that WP Rocket can do. So here I am in the main dashboard for WP Rocket within my website, and you can see here you've got basic information about your account. You can click here to view your account on their website. Here you can clear your cache, you can preload the cache. You can also click this button to get Rocket CDN. Rocket CDN is a CDN that they released with version 3.5. It's a separate payment. It's a monthly payment, if I remember correctly. I haven't personally tested it out, so I can't comment on whether or not it's any good. I would assume it is, given how good WP Rocket is, but that is, something that is available if you're interested in getting a CDN via WP Rocket. Scrolling down, you can become part of their beta testing program. You can send them analytics information. Then down here, you've got a bunch of help information. So you've got some getting started videos. You've got some frequently asked questions. Here you've got documentation. And then here you can ask support, or you've got this button here. This is not live chat, by the way. You will fill out a form. You'll have to give them a bunch of information about, what the problem is, what plugins you're using, all that sort of stuff. And then they'll get back to you. Generally what I've found is it takes them a couple hours to kind of, go through your request and get back to you. But I've generally found support to be very, very helpful. So, it's always good to know that not only is it a quality plugin, WP Rocket, but they also have quality support backing up that plugin. So let's take a look first at the caching options that you get with WP Rocket. So you have these options here for mobile cache. So this enables caching for mobile devices. So obviously I have that turned on. This creates separate cache files for mobile devices. It says enable this only if you have a dedicated mobile theme or plugin. Since I don't have that, I don't enable this particular feature. But if you do have a dedicated mobile theme, this is something that you would more than likely want to enable. Here you can enable user cache, enable caching for logged in WordPress users. That's something that I personally don't use, but again, you can see this is one of the things I really love about WP Rocket. It's very easy to use. Everything is just, you click the button and save the changes and you're done. You don't really have to think about it. You think about, do I want this or do I not? And then you just click the checkbox and that's it. Here you set your cache lifespan. I have it set to 10 hours. I did this a while ago. I set this up. I've been using WP Rocket for several years. I'm sure that was a recommendation I read somewhere, but you can change this to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be hours. It can be minutes, days, and then you just enter the number that you want right there. So again, it's very easy to set up. It's one of the things that I really love about WP Rocket. Okay, now we'll take a look at file optimization and what options you have for file optimization with WP Rocket. So here you see minify HTML, optimize Google fonts, minify CSS files, combine CSS files. Here you can exclude URLs of CSS files from minification if you want to do that, so you'd enter the URL there. Here you can optimize CSS delivery. This eliminates render blocking CSS on your website for faster perceived load times. Next up, remove jQuery migrate, minify JavaScript files, combine JavaScript files. And here you can exclude inline JavaScript. So if there's files you want to exclude, you can do that. You can also specify URLs of JavaScript files to be excluded from minification. And you load JavaScript deferred and safe mode for jQuery. So, I have almost all of these enabled. I don't have this one enabled. I've gotten some weird things happen on my website when I enable this. So, you may want to check things out if you enable this, see if it works properly on your website. But most of these, again, as I said, most of these are very simple, one click. Now, some of these you will only see if you click something else. So let me just show you. And some of these you do actually go through a two-step process. So here you can see that this is not enabled until I enable this here. And what happens is I click on that, and now it's going to say this could break things. So it says, if you notice any errors on your website after having activated this setting, just deactivate it again and your site will be back to normal. So, I like this kind of warning that gives you. I've never run into any problems with any of these, but with several of these options on this particular page, it does give you this option. Or it does give you this warning. So I click on that, and then I'll reactivate that, and then again it gives me the warning, and boom. And that's it. I'm done, and this is all. I can come down here and save changes, and I've got all my files optimized the way that I like to have it set up, which is pretty much, again, enabling almost everything they offer in terms of page or file optimization. So now let's look at the options for media files. So you've got a few options here for lazy loading, so you can enable for images, enable for iframes and videos. And if you have this here enabled, you can then also replace the YouTube iframe with a preview image. Here you can disable emojis, disable embeds, and then if you're using WebP images, you've got the option to enable WebP caching. I don't use any of those images, so I don't have that enabled. But if you do, again, everything here is just very easy. Just click on it and then save changes, and then this here will be enabled. Now let's take a look at the preload options. Now this will obviously include the new preloading fonts option that I talked about at the very beginning of this video. So first you have preload cache. So you can activate preloading and then activate sitemap based cache preloading, and then it will generally automatically find your sitemap. So in my case I use rank math to generate my sitemap, so I can just click on that there. If for some reason it doesn't, you can specify your sitemaps down here. So you've got that option. Here you can prefetch DNS requests if that's something you want to do. It's not an option I personally use, but you do have that if you want to use it. Now here is the new preload font option. Now they do have instructions here on their web page for how to do this. So I do suggest you take a look at this, but this is what I understand and what seems to work. So here I've run my page already through PageSpeed Insights. And if I come down here, I've got these things here that say preload key requests. I click on that arrow and I see I've got two things here. One that's coming from Font Awesome, the other that's coming from eIcons. So, and if I actually come over here to my mobile version, which PageSpeed Insights doesn't seem to like my mobile version as much as it does my desktop, I come here and I'm seeing that same Font Awesome file. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one for now. And so I've already got the URL path there. So I'm going to copy that, paste it in there, and go ahead and save changes. Wait for this to save. Okay, now let's run my page through PageSpeed Insights again. Now my score actually didn't really change. I don't know how they calculate these scores, but if you come down here, you'll see that preload key request is no longer here. It's taking care of that font awesome issue that I had. It said my estimated savings was something like 2.5 seconds for mobile, which is fairly significant. And for desktop, the savings weren't quite as significant. But if I click on this, again, the font awesome one is no longer here. It's just the e-icons one. So, I will later go ahead and take care of this one. Again, you can just, you'll probably have to hover over it like this and manually type in the path. I haven't found a way to copy and paste this, but that's how you set up this font preloading that they have as a new feature in WP Rocket 3.6. Next up are advanced rules. Now, I don't personally use any of these, but I just want to show it to you in case it is something that is of use to you. So you can specify URLs to never cache. You can specify cookies to never cache. You can never cache user agents. You can always purge certain URLs. And then you can enter cache query strings that it says enables you to force caching for specific get parameters. So again, these are advanced things that I don't personally use, but they are available for you if it's something that you want to kind of dig into. Next up is the database cleaner. Now this is something you might normally do via a separate plugin, but it's integrated here into WP Rocket, which eliminates the need for a separate plugin in order to clean your WordPress database. So you've got things here for post cleanup, comment cleanup, transient cleanup, database cleanup, and you can also set an automatic cleanup schedule, so you can do either daily, weekly, or monthly, and then just save changes and optimize. It's very simple. And again, as I said, it eliminates the need to have a separate plugin in order to clean your database. Next up is the CDN section. Now, as I mentioned earlier, they do now have their own CDN called Rocket CDN at $7.99 a month. As I understand it, obviously very easily integrates in with a WP Rocket plugin. It's very easy to set up. So, it's something you may want to take a look at if you want to use a CDN on your website. But if you use another CDN, you've got options here for setting it up. And then here you can exclude certain files from the CDN. Now, if you use Cloudflare, as I do, that's actually in a separate section that's in the add-on section, which I'll show you in a moment. Next up are the options for reducing or disabling the Heartbeat API, which can save some of your server resources. So again, very easy. You just click on that and you turn it on. And then you've got options here for reducing or disabling the Heartbeat activity. So you can do not limit, reduce, or disable for behavior in backend, behavior in post editor, and behavior in front end. And again, this is something that's normally handled via separate plugin, but WP Rocket has it integrated into their plugin, so you don't need a separate plugin in order to control the Heartbeat and reduce usage of your server resources. Next up are various free add-ons for WP Rocket, and these you can toggle on and off very easily. So if you use Google Analytics, this will improve the browser caching for Google Analytics, improve it for Facebook Pixel. It says if Varnish runs on your server, you must activate this add-on. Here is the Cloudflare activation right here. So if you use Cloudflare, you can integrate Cloudflare with WP Rocket. And then this is Sucuri, which is something I personally use. It looks like it's a security plugin, and again, you can synchronize Sucuri cache with this add-on. So you've got that option as well as an add-on for WP Rocket. Next up, there's a tab for image optimization. Now, this isn't actually part of WP Rocket. It's a separate plugin that is owned by the same company. It's a plugin called Imagify that, if you want, you can install. It's got both a free version and a paid version. It seems to have generally pretty good reviews. If I come down here, as you can see, the majority are 5-star reviews. You always get some people who just hate things. Never very much in between, never very much 2, 3, or 4 stars. but overall it's got about 4.25 stars. So you can check that out if you want. But again, it's a tab on WP Rocket, but it's not actually part of WP Rocket. Then finally here on Tools, you can export settings, import settings, or you can roll back to previous version. If for some reason you have issues with a version, you can roll back very easily to a prior version and see if that fixes the problem, at least temporarily. So let's take a look at the post and page specific options for WP Rocket. Now I've turned myself off here so that I'm not blocking what I want to show you. You can see I'm working actually on a written review of WP Rocket right now. And so this is this is the blog post for that. And as you can see, you've got options here for WP Rocket. So you can, click on these, change them, so you can edit a lot of things by page or by post. It doesn't have to be on your whole website. So you've got never cache this page, lazy load for images, lazy load for iframes videos, minify HTML, minify combined CSS, minify combined JavaScript. This is for the CDN if you're using a CDN. This is the optimized CSS delivery option, which I don't have enabled. That's why I can't turn this on or off here. And then defer JavaScript. Now here you have one of the other new options that I talked about, the critical path CSS, that you can now turn on or off by page or by post. Now again, I would need to first turn on this here, activate the CSS optimized CSS delivery option, and then I would have the option to generate critical path CSS by page or by post, rather than as it was before, doing it for the website as a whole. So those are the page and post options you have for kind of tweaking WP Rocket. You've got, as I showed you in the dashboard, you've got the settings that affect the whole website. But if you want to set certain things, set things differently by page or by post, you can do turn a lot of these on or off as you want to do. Now the other new feature is the critical path CSS that is specific for mobile sites. Now what it says here is it says we're going to generate a critical path CSS for mobile only if you have the separate cache from mobile option enabled. If you're not using this option, we'll assume that your theme is responsive and that the CP CSS generated for desktop is also valid for mobile. So if you want to use this new feature of the separate critical path CSS for your mobile theme, if you're using a separate mobile theme, then if you remember here under cache, I showed you this option here, separate cache files for mobile devices. You need to enable that. And then that separate mobile critical path CSS for your mobile theme will automatically be generated. So again, very easy to set up, but if that's something that you're using, this here takes care of it right there. So let's take a look at the pricing and plans for WP Rocket. So as you see here, for a single website, it's $49 for 1 year of support and updates for one website. The Plus plan is $99 for a year of support and updates for 3 websites. Then Infinite is $249 for a year of support and updates for unlimited websites. This would be if you want to use it probably for clients. If you're an agency, if you're a website designer and you've got a lot of websites that you design for other people or that you manage for other people, this license would be a great investment for your business. What can I say about WP Rocket? I've been using it for about 3 years. I consider it a absolute necessary investment for my business. I pay for my license every year and I'm absolutely happy to give them my money. I looked at how my website loaded when I was using a free plugin and then compared it to how it changed once I switched to WP Rocket, and the speed difference, not just on something like GTmetrix, but just with my own eyes, the speed difference was amazing. As I showed you, it's got a lot of great features, very easy to set up, right? I mean, almost everything was one click. There's not a lot of thinking that you have to figure out, how do I configure this, what do I do, what setting do I choose? No, you turn it on or turn it off. It's very, very easy to set up. Customer support I found to be very helpful, very with decent response times. So this is a plugin that I absolutely love. And so if you do choose to buy WP Rocket, I will put my affiliate link in the description below. I do appreciate if you buy via my affiliate link. It gives me a little bit of money. It allows me to continue to create 100% free content. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot of videos coming out all throughout the year and hopefully in future years, videos to help you build and grow your online business. And finally, if you have any questions about WP Rocket, any questions about how to use it, any questions before you buy it, please let me know. I'm always happy to help you out however I can. That's what I'm here for. Consider me, somewhat of a resource for you. I'll do whatever I can to help you, with WP Rocket. So that's it. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you found a lot of value in this video. So take care. Bye.